Squire! Fetch my Vorpal helmet!
Sir, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yesunge has drawn his bow. Or drawn his arrow. He's going to ready it in his bow, but he'll do what Frank told him. So he will step back, which costs him 2. And then he'll move. Step back again, which costs him 2. That's there we go. He'll start moving to there. He's starting to get around. So he'll just take the move action. Won't try to knock his bow and shoot the frog. All right, this huge frog is reeling. Well, we know what he's going to do. He's going to try to attack Carlotta. How about if we... Wow, that's pretty amusing. There we go. He didn't do all those movements. It just was the GM trying to get him in a position. All right, so he is going to attack Carlotta. So he is going to take the attack action. And he's got -4 to his attack because he was badly injured by her. He's going to try to bite her. But he doesn't. Rolls a 15. That's not good enough. Well, Raj will maneuver to get behind this frog. What's his move? Why do we have move 3? That doesn't seem right. Let's see here. Oh, right. So we see here on this sheet, let's go back to the Gaming Ballistic sheet. We see on here on his sheet that his move is 3. Why? Why is his move 3? Well, if we remember, he did all-out attack strong. And on all-out attack, you can move half your move rounded up. So he's not going to be doing an all-out attack. He's going to be taking the move maneuver. And when he takes the move maneuver, he can move 5. So he'll do that. And what it'll do is it'll cost him 2 movement points to get through here because there's a dead frog in the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to position himself to get behind that frog. Carlotta will back up and attack the frog again. And she hits. Let's see if this frog, who is now at half move and dodge, can dodge. Probably not. And this is what we call the death spiral in GURPS, because once you get down to half move and dodge, unless you can parry or block, which are not affected by being at 1/3 hit points, things go downhill pretty quickly. So he fails to dodge. Carlotta is going to do her damage. Once again, 10 points of damage. That'll be 9 injury to this frog. This frog is now going to be at negative hit points. So, significant damage to the frog. Foxfire, will she be brave? And, well, why not? She's going to attack this frog. Why not? She's got reach 2 on her staff. Might as well try to smack it. So, let's do that. Wizard staff. Swing at the frog. +1 for size modifier. Let's give her the attack maneuver. And she hits. Once again, can the frog defend? Well, part of the problem here is he's at half move and dodge. He doesn't. All right. So she'll do her damage, which is 1 die plus 1. Oh, no, 1 die plus 2 crush. Swinging. All right. 5 points of damage. That's good for a slender elf. All right. Frog is taking more damage. Frank Newcastle. Well, Frank thinks that he can end this. Frank is going to target this frog. And will he do a rapid strike? What the heck? Why not? He's not a weapon master, so for him, rapid strike is a little bit tricky. However, rapid strike -6, +4 for telegraphic attack. He sees that this frog is wounded, and maybe he's going to have a hard time defending. And +1 for his size modifier. So he'll have 2 12s. Why not? He'll try to thrust and attack this frog twice. So first thrust is a hit. Second thrust. Ho, ho, ho. Critical success. Well, let's first resolve the hit on the frog. So this frog needs to defend. It gets a +2 to defend because there was a telegraphic attack. So maybe it can dodge. Let's see. It's got a 7. No, it fails to dodge. So Frank will do his damage on that first one. 1 die plus 2 impaling. All right. Minimum damage, or not minimum, but, low damage. Still hurts the frog. But now let's roll for Frank on the critical hit table. So right-click, draw result. The result is an 8. If any damage penetrates DR, it causes double normal shock penalty. All right, so that would be really bad for this frog if it lives, because then it would have -8 to attack next round. But let's do the damage for Frank. Maybe this one will be more damaging. Oh, at one point he had control points on him. We forgot about that. Who knows? Maybe that would have affected him in some way. And he wouldn't have been able to make some of these attacks. One of the difficulties about being the GM and running the players is that you forget some of that. Regardless, we'll just say that. We'll retcon that and say there were no control points. All right, damage. 1 dice plus 3 thrust. Give us a big one. Nope. Another 4 points. But still, all goes through to the frog. Frog is in a bad way. Oh, let's just see what happens here. Thulnar wants to heal his friend Yesunge. So he steps close to Yesunge, touches his hand to him, and casts... Touches his hand to Yesunge and casts Stop Bleeding, which is somewhere. There it is. So he casts Stop Bleeding on Yesunge. It is successful. Costs him 1 fatigue. He's got plenty. And that's going to give Yesunge 1d plus 3, minimum 1. Well, somehow I managed to do that the wrong way. Let's delete that. Let's see if I can do it. Will it apply it to the target? Let's see. No, it didn't apply it to the target, but that's all right. It'll be 3 healing to Yesunge. I have to figure out how to do that the right way. For right now, he'll go from 8 to 11. Fine. All right. That was Thulnar's turn. Right. So, this will probably wrap up pretty quickly. Yesunge will step here and ready his bow. Oh boy. Right. Preparing to shoot the frog. This huge frog, let's see what his status is. Ooh, he needed to make a death check. Actually, let's make a death check for our frog. Well. Our frog failed his death check. So, that means that our frog is no longer in the land of the living. We will change his status to dead. We'll remove him from the combat. And because the only people left in the combat are the good guys, we will end the combat. All right. Oh, this somehow, I guess we're using monks, whatever it is, blood splats or something like that. All right. Well, that concludes the battle with the frogs. That was a interesting battle, one in which one of our delvers took some damage. Other ones were threatened. We certainly messed up the control points on Frank. Something to remember about next time. And when one of the frogs, I can't remember which one, got its sticky tongue on its shield, but we'll just assume that he was able to attack and make that frog drop it anyway. Fair enough. For posterity's sake, Thulnar is going to heal Yesunge again, or try to, by casting minor healing on him. Is he successful? He is. And minor healing will cost. He can heal up to 3 hit points, which is actually all Yesunge needs. It will cost him 3 fatigue. Not a problem for our dwarf, who has plenty of fatigue. So we'll open up Yesunge's character sheet, put him at 14 hit points, and he's back to full. So our heroes are down some fatigue, but other than that, they're all perfectly healthy, and they have dealt with the menace of the frogs. Did we role play? So another thing to think about, there were some times when I suppose maybe Frank should have taken an extra shot at a downed foe because he has bloodlust. But he also has, if I recall correctly, selfless CR6. So we're going to have to see how those resolve themselves in the future. But for now, a successful combat, so you can see how GURPS rules work, and our delvers are now going to move closer to the ruined Moathouse. And they can see into the Moathouse with a somewhat damaged drawbridge. And they can see that there's some rubble in there. And that's where they're going to be heading in next on Vorpal Helmet.